Welcome everybody who is coming to this live training where I'm going to share the 3 powerful steps to step into the magic in your business and really co-create with the universe, God, source, whatever your higher power is on your side. But as a quick warning, this is going to be different than any of the other trainings you've seen me do, because we're going to go deep into the full-blown spiritual space. So bear with me, that's the warning. If that sort of stuff makes you uncomfortable, this is not the training for you. You want to jump off of this training if you can't handle going into the ethers of pure magical manifestation. Now, if you love all things deep and spiritual and consciousness based, you are in the right place and you're in for a super awesome treat today. Here's how it's going to be a little bit different is, first of all, you all know I have no problem stepping into a pretty vulnerable space, but I'm going to be sharing some really vulnerable experiences that I've had, both from my magical manifestation place, as well as from a holy hell, my life fell apart sort of place. And in sharing these stories, I want to also reveal to you how I reverse engineered what was happening. So now I know and understand it in a way to use it for my business and for the impact that I want to make on the world, as opposed to being flatlined without even knowing what the heck is going on in my world. So yeah, so this is going to be really good. I'm already feeling myself go into this vulnerable place. I hope you're all open to appreciating some power of story. And when I'm sharing these stories, it's all around pulling the lessons out of the stories for you. But again, I'm going to reverse engineer everything that happened in these experiences of mine over the last 7 years so that you know exactly how to use this really powerful process to create effortlessly with more ease and flow and alignment in your business. And really, this is the field of possibilities. This is the field of unlimited possibilities that I'm talking about playing in. And it's the secret sauce that's been happening behind the scenes in my business that I don't always share because not everybody's ready for it. But again, if you want to get deep and you want to really understand the deeper business energetics of how to co-create your business without all the force and the hustle and the grind, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. So here's where all of this started for me. Now, many of you know my background in working with teenagers, disadvantaged youth. Some of you do not. But when I chose to leave my probation job, I decided to create a program, innovative program, to bring powerful consciousness concepts into our education system, working with kids who are most at risk of dropping out. Now, all of that was fantastic, right? And it was a super powerful way to share my gifts with the world in a way that aligned with my heart. But there's one period in that whole area that stands out the most to me. And it comes back to what my grandma, an ice cream shop, disadvantaged youth, and dog treats, and how all those 4 things that seem to have nothing in common created a path for some really amazingly wild synchronicity. So just to give you a little background, this is probably the most vulnerable experience that I've ever had in my life. I can already feel myself getting emotional about it. And I lost my grandma a long time ago. We all experience loss, right? But my grandma ended up having a massive heart attack on Thanksgiving Day with the whole family there. So that said, we had a very close relationship, and my grandma was very tapped in. She was connected. She was like this funky old lady. She believed in biorhythms, and she would play bingo based on her horoscope. And she was out there, astrology and numerology, anything and everything that was totally not the norm, especially in her age group. She was all in. She believed in aliens. She was really a fascinating woman. So she was really tapped in, and I always had a really special relationship with her because I also knew that I had some really interesting spiritual gifts ever since I was a little girl. So anyways, after she had passed, I was going through all of my career stuff, and I had all of a sudden felt this really strong presence. And my grandma used to own a restaurant in a town nearby. And all of a sudden I felt this urge, and I'm in the middle of all this youth work. I felt this massive urge to go to this restaurant that she used to own that was now an ice cream shop. And I didn't know why I wanted to go. I just kept feeling this urge. I kept ignoring it. Life was busy, a couple small kids running around. And then one night, my husband and I got into this massive fight. I know now that I created the drama for an excuse to go to the damn ice cream shop. So we got in this massive fight, and I'm like, I'm out of here. And off I went to the ice cream shop. go to get some ice cream. I'm so mad. And as soon as I walked into the ice cream shop, the man who owned it, we started sitting down. He was just this jovial, amazing man. And we started sitting down and talking, and he was asking me what I do. And I was telling him about the youth work I was doing and the impact that I was wanting to have on kids, and that there was this missing piece, and it was the funding. And I really wanted to find a way to create more sustainable funding to grow the program and work with more kids. And it's so interesting you say that, because I'm really passionate about working with kids, and I have another business where we make dog treats, and he's very business minded. What ended up coming out of that conversation was we created an entire social enterprise on how we could make the funding more sustainable by employing these kids to make dog treats that would then give them all of this incredible opportunity to be prepared to go into the workforce. It was like this beautiful partnership that was created. So again, like the whole point of this was like, there was something else happening. It was like pure synchronicity. I couldn't have created the idea from my intellect alone. I was drawn to show up. I didn't even know why. And then we created this amazing business partnership that was going to transform how we were working with these kids. So that was like that was 7 years ago. So that was the first, there's a lot more happening here that is beyond anything I'm doing and anything that I'm creating. It's bigger. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than the youth. It's bigger than all of us. And the same is true in your businesses. There's something bigger happening outside of ourselves and in our businesses that we don't always see, or we don't always listen to, or we're too stuck in our heads to be able to tap into. Okay, so that's when, the synchronicity is beautiful and it brings emotion because it's so powerful. And there's some other ways that synchronicity has shown up that were not so fun, that were like, actually almost every single client that I step into partnership with, this happens really early in our coaching relationship. Either it happened right before the relationship or right at the beginning of the relationship. And it's the, oh my gosh, all the shit's hitting the fan moment. And it's everything is falling apart. And that's the other way that we co-create our businesses with God, universe, source, whatever your higher power is. And every time it happens, it's because there's a massive up level. There's a massive up level in the business. There's a massive up level in consciousness. That first story that I shared with you, that was a pivotal change in realizing how supported and how guided and how loved I was in the work that I was working on bringing out into the world. This next time it came, it was in a different way. It was 4 years later, and I was building a program. I had this online marketing stuff figured out, and I wanted to get it in the hands of as many people as possible. And I was just raring to go. I thought this was my path. And I got so in my head, I'm like, this is my path and I can teach it this way. And I built out an entire course on exactly the steps to take. And I was just cranking it out. It was totally in the force aspect of my business. I had the idea and I ran with it, and I didn't create any space for the universe to come in and give me any guidance. So I went full blown into force. This is one of the ways we block our ability to keep hearing and tapping into the direction that we're meant to go in our businesses. So I got the idea. I got excited about it. The idea definitely came from a higher place, but I took the idea and I ran with it. I didn't leave any room for that idea to change, evolve, pivot in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just cranking it out. I hired a sales team. I hired an ad agency to manage my ads. I was hiring people left and right. I had a whole plan in place that was going to be generating anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 a month revenue in my business with this powerful program I was creating. And I was just like, boom, I'm on it. And I'm cruising along, and we're literally 1 week from the launch of the program. Everybody's in place. And along the way, I was consulting with some people, and they were telling me what to do to make it more successful. And I was listening to them. I was like, they're the experts. They know more than I do about this. So I just did everything they told me. I didn't ever take the time to check in if it was truly in alignment with how I wanted the program or my business to be represented. I know that now, but in the moment, I undermined my own higher wisdom and took the advice and the knowledge of somebody else that wasn't necessarily the right fit for me. I just took that over myself, right? So have any of you done that? If you're watching trainings and you're seeing all this information and you're consuming all this information and you're like, oh, they know it, they got to figure it out, look at their results, and you think that's the path or you think that's the way for you, if you don't run it through your own filter, what happened to me will likely happen to you in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I did. I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't listening to my gut. I wasn't listening to my heart. I was just like, they're the experts. They're telling me to do this. I'm good at following the rules. I'm just going to do it exactly the way they tell me. So we're about 1 week out from launch, and my entire ads account was shut down, which meant that was like everything was dependent on the ads account. And then something else happened in my life. Literally 48 hours later, I'm sitting at a baseball game, and I get a text with a picture from one of our tenants. And it's a picture of our apartment building with one of the walls crumbled to the ground. We own a fourplex. There were four families in that building. And all of a sudden, one of the exterior walls had crumbled to the ground. No explanation. Wasn't in the middle of a big storm. Just fell down. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything is going wrong. Like, my revenue source is cut off because that's the only way I knew how to build my business. I put all my eggs in that basket. And now we have this gigantic event that needs to be resolved and solved and paid for. And my hands are tied behind my back. So I'm devastated in that moment. So I reach out to my coach and I'm like, I don't even know where to go with this. There's so much coming at me so fast. Who feels that when it rains, it freaking pours? Like, when it starts coming, it's like the rug just keeps getting pulled out from underneath you over and over again. Boom, it just keeps hammering you and hammering you. So it's like, what's hiding behind all of that? Fortunately, I had a really powerful coach that I'd reached out to, and I knew enough, knowing that there's purpose and meaning behind everything. Everything's a mirror to something. So I knew that. So I reached out to my coach and I'm like, okay, I feel like I can't even grasp everything that's hammering me right now. What is going on? And then I was venting. I was so angry. And so just, I guess apparently anger is a predecessor. I don't know if that's the right word. It happens before I have my breakthrough. Seeing a theme here? I was very angry and I was venting, and I'm like, I don't know how that wall fell down. I don't know if it's the foundation or what is wrong with that wall. And she stopped me and she just said, okay. And then she said, so let me ask you a question. Where is your foundation a little crumbly right now? And I started bawling. And when she asked me that question, where is your foundation crumbling or faulty? It hit me like a ton of bricks. How much I had neglected listening to myself. How much I had put all of my trust and faith in the experts outside of myself. How I had put all my trust and faith into something that I thought the market wanted, but it wasn't what the market needed. They needed the energetic piece, the healing piece, the spiritual gifts, my purpose, as much as they needed the information and the power of the information that was going into that program. And as soon as I realized that, I pulled the plug. I let go of my sales team, canceled my ads manager, just stopped everything. I was just like, this isn't it. I just spent 3 months creating a program. I hired video editors. It was like tens of thousands of dollars to launch this. And it wasn't it. And I took the next month and did nothing. It was time to connect back in to my heart, my vision, my gifts. And that's when I knew what I was really meant to release out into the world. And it was that shift that then exploded my business. It wasn't what I thought was going to explode my business. It was the other thing that exploded my business. So when the universe is hitting you over the head with a 2x4, when all the ish is hitting the fan, first off, it's a clue that you're on the edge of one of your biggest breakthroughs yet. It's called the law of opposites. The law of opposites, we're all familiar with the law of attraction. The law of opposites states that the opposite must show up before the thing you're trying to manifest shows up. It provides contrast. We wouldn't know light without dark. It is inevitable. The opposite has got to show up before the manifestation. The key is how you interpret when the opposite shows up, when the contrast shows up, because the majority of people say, oh, it's not working. I should go dig another hole over here, do something different. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try something new. When in reality, it's just a clue like, to lean even more deeply into trust, lean even more deeply into wisdom, lean even more deeply into the truth that's meant for you. That's the only thing it's telling you. And when we make it mean something other than that, about leaning more fully into ourselves, we kill the ability to get to the other side, which is the breakthrough and the manifestation. So that was a huge experience. And so now I just know, if like I did in the training with the Force to Flow training, now I just know, right? When the funnel's broken, there's something out of alignment with me. When something's not working the way I intended it to work or saw it working in my business, that's the clue. If there's a block in my business, there's a block in me. Where did I disconnect from truth? Where did I disconnect from wisdom? Where did I disconnect from being guided, from having the answers that are right in front of me, but I maybe went and looked for the answers someplace else? Now, that said, do we need answers from other places? Yeah, we don't know what we don't know, but it's uncovering how to know which answers you're seeking and for what purpose, rather than just randomly having things thrown on your plate and following blindly without checking in and running it through your filter of alignment. Okay, so let me tell you now, after those two experiences over those last 7 years, let me tell you, those two moments were the most pivotal moments of my business. In the 7 years I've been in business, both in the capacity as a contractor working with adolescents as well as working with entrepreneurs, those two moments were the biggest breakthroughs, the biggest pivots, the biggest transitions, the biggest explosions that came both from a spiritual growth level as well as a financial growth level in my business. So let me share with you as I reverse engineer it. And then I want to share with you that it was 7 years ago that the ice cream shop happened. And it was 3 years ago that our building fell down. And my most recent synchronistic, powerful breakthrough happened last week. So I'm going to share that after I share with you the 3 things that create this ability to co-create your business in more effortless flow, ease, fun, connection, and wisdom. That is now a science to tapping into this power in your business. Okay, let's do it. Here is step 1, unlock the vision. Now here's where we're going to get deep. This is the co-creation dance. The first step is taken by the universe, God, source. And that step is that I believe that there is a beautiful seed, beautiful vision planted in your heart. And it's only for you. This is your vision. And you sometimes get it in flashes. And your mind can say, no, that can't be. Or your mind can say, no, that's too big. Or your mind can dismiss it. You get flashes of this vision. It's not coming from your head. It's coming from someplace else. And it's in your heart. It is completely there. And that's the universe's step. The universe, God, took the first step to put that in your heart. Now it's our turn. It's like they take a step, we take a step. Now it's our turn. You've got to be willing to unlock the vision that is in your heart. You've got to be willing to go there and uncover it in its fullness. No matter how scary it is, no matter how big it is, it's there. And it's meant for you. And you've got to go there. It's your first step. Whatever, see it without judgment. It's a gift to you, given to you and put in your heart. And you have to unlock it. Every single inch of it. You want to wring the entire vision out of your heart. And just let it be what you uncover. So go there, go into a creative space, center yourself, clear your mind, and let it be. Let it reveal itself fully. After you uncover your vision, your second step is to detach. This is probably the hardest step because, again, this is a dance. The universe took a step. You took a step. Now it's the universe's turn. It's very equal. The partnership goes back and forth. So now it's the universe's turn. You unlocked the vision. You unlocked everything that was in your heart. And now you lean into the trust. And this is the synchronicity piece, is you have this knowing with that vision. The vision would not be in your heart unless it was yours, unless it already existed in your reality. It just wouldn't be there unless it was meant to come to full fruition. So knowing with absolute certainty that vision is meant for you, you can relax. It's coming. It's here. It is. And where we stop the flow is that we get so excited about the vision. We get so excited that we start to make it happen. There's two different ways this goes, right? We get the vision and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I can see it. I believe it. I know it to be real for me. And I'm going to go make it happen. And that's when we go into force. And that's essentially telling the universe, God, source, like, hey, you know what? Thanks for that beautiful gift. I got it. I'll take it from here. I'm good. I don't need anything else from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you later. Bye-bye. I got it. Can we do it on our own? Sure. But why would we want to? Why would we not want to leverage more power, more fuel, if we have it available to us? So then we kick the universe out. And I always envision, like I literally have this vision in my head of the universe chuckling, whatever vision of the universe, God, you have, of the universe chuckling and being like, all right, Stace, have fun with that. Good luck. Like, just like being totally detached. I'm just going to watch how all this unfolds. Because that's what I did when I started forcing the program that I was forcing. And the universe was just sitting back like, we'll see how this goes. See what's going to happen here. And look what happened. I wasn't listening. I kicked the universe to the curb. So that's one of the ways we block it. Now, the other way we block it, and this is where like I about want to throw up in my mouth a little bit, is like with some of the, oh yes, I'm going to manifest it. Like it's just going to come to me. Like I have this vision and I'm just going to sit back and be complacent and not do anything because it's all on the universe. That's the other way that we block like this complacency, or like it's out of our control in some way, shape, or form. It's not. Remember, this is a partnership. This is a dance. So if we block it with like complacency, or with that it's all on the universe, also just says, no, I want to play with you. I don't want to play by myself in this playground. I want to play by myself in this sandbox. That's boring. I want to play with you. So those are the two ways that we block our vision from coming to fruition. So the second step is knowing that it is real and it's coming. And the detaching piece is then creating some space. It's now the universe's turn to provide you some guidance. So how does guidance show up? It shows up in where you feel excited. It shows up in meeting the right person at the right time for the right reason. It shows up in coming across something and having it leave a little breadcrumb that you start following that unfolds your next step. And it's following, you can never see the whole picture. Like you're not going to see step A to step Z. The alphabet does have 26 letters, right? Not just 4. You're never going to see steps A to Z. And when we're waiting to see all the steps, that we don't take action until we see all the steps, that's also where we're blocking. We're meant to take a step at a time and follow the guidance and keep trusting. And sometimes those steps, they make no freaking logical sense. I have no clue why I'm doing this. I just feel like it's something I have to do. Maybe I have no clue why I want to go to this ice cream shop, but I just felt like it was something. I felt this urge to go. And it's following the urge. So detach and believe, allow the universe to guide you, to drop some breadcrumbs for you. And then that's step 3, act on the clues. Take massive aligned action on the synchronicity and the clues that are guiding you along. And anytime that you feel confused or overwhelmed, remember, reconnect into the vision and then detach again and allow something to reveal itself. And sometimes they're huge clues and sometimes they're tiny clues. And I'll tell you what, as you keep doing this process over and over again, you're going to be stretched more and more. What I mean by that is in the beginning of really mastering this co-creation dance, in the beginning, the clues are like, they don't feel like too super scary because it's basically, I think God, universe, source knows that we have to establish some trust in the process. So they're like, oh, just go have coffee at this coffee shop and it's okay, whatever. But as you do this more and more, it's going to stretch you more and more into trust, meaning, oh, like for me, it's like meaning, oh my goodness, I'm super called to go into an apprenticeship partnership with this coach who is incredibly transformational, but it's $20,000. Wait, okay, I know my heart and everything inside of me is saying to move forward, yet logically this makes no sense. Now, thank goodness the universe didn't pull that stunt on the very first time I was doing this process, because it would have been like, no, I'm going to go back and I got this covered on my own, and I would leave the universe out. But it's going to keep stretching you further and further into a new level of trust in this co-creation process. Okay, so what's coming up for you? What do you think of this? This co-creation dance. These are the 3 steps. Act on the clues, no matter what. Take massive action, aligned action. And then as soon as you take action, and that's the dance part, right? You get the clue, the universe delivers the guidance, you take the action. The universe delivers more guidance, you take the action. Back and forth and back and forth. What do you think? Okay, good question, Cece. What about when you don't know the how, such as the example of cost of doing something when there's a lack of resources? So let me just talk about this real quick, Stacey, because there's 2 ways to look at this. If there's really, by making the investment means that your basic needs aren't going to be met, then it's really just not the time. So then maybe it's saying, okay, that's the step, the guidance that I've received, the nudge I've received. I know that's going to be happening. I'm going to be creating that partnership. However, there's deep trust, but there's also the realization that we can sabotage the entire dance if we're stretched too far. So in my experience, the universe isn't going to stretch. Like, I have never gotten guidance that wasn't doable. Was it scary as hell? Oh yeah, but it was always doable. Were there fears? Absolutely. So I personally have never received guidance that wasn't doable on some level, or that put me in a position where I would actually not be taken care of, not have the resources to feed my family, or not have the resources to have never. I don't believe the universe would give us any guidance that would lead us down that path. However, the fear, if we choose to follow the guidance of the universe and then release the trust in the process, the trust in the guidance, then we've shut off communication and we create that reality, because that's our fear. Where I'm going with that is, can it happen? Yes. Whether or not it's going to happen depends on where we give our power. Our power can only be in one place at a time. And if we give our power over to our fear, what we fear, we create. And if we give our power and keep leaning even deeper into trust, just more and more miracles keep unfolding. We are so supported. We are so loved. We are so connected. Does it put me in an uncomfortable position? Sure. But has it ever threatened my basic needs of survival? Never, never, ever. So a quick answer to what happens when you lean into it, and where you go with it from there. Like jumping out of a plane. Yeah, totally, Steve. Oh my gosh. Over and over again. And like I said, I can't even tell you, I've actually just this past May, I was basically guided to let everything go in my business, shut everything down, even though it was working. And I went into this really deep space, and I didn't know how long it would last. And I shut everything down. The only interactions I had were with my family for 3 weeks. And then I had one training that I was scheduled for. So I fulfilled my existing obligations and my clients. But other than that, in any extra time, I did no marketing. I did no sales calls. I did nothing for my business. And it was like a full-blown reboot. Now I understand. I'm going to share that story in a minute. Now I understand what happened in May. I didn't understand at the time. And that was really scary. I didn't know when my motivation would come back. I didn't know what it would look like. It was seriously a blank freaking slate of just like nothingness, no inspiration, no creativity, just being with nothing for 3 straight weeks. Didn't know when it would end, didn't know if it would ever come back. Like all those fears came up. And that was a deep exercise in trust for me that something was coming. I was cocooning for the immersion of the next thing. Okay, so those are your 3 steps. Unlock the vision, detach, believe in the vision, receive the guidance, take massively aligned action in direction of the guidance, and go back and forth. Now, what happens when you're cruising along and you're getting the guidance and everything seems to be unfolding and all of a sudden it comes to a halting stop. There's no guidance. There's nothing showing up. And you can feel stuck again. When that happens, that is a clue that it's time to reconnect in, because another aspect of your vision has been planted in your heart. And you start the process all over again. So when it feels like you're cruising along, things feel easy, like you got this thing down, then like the brakes are on, that's a clue. It's time to go back and redo the entire process over again. That you're ready for an up-leveled vision, that you're ready for the next vision of where you're going and what you're creating in your life and in your business. So that's the next phase. So can I share with you what has happened? I told you about the two biggest times. Like this co-creation dance happens, it's ongoing, but there's some like pivotal ones that are just like quantum leaps. Can I share with you the most recent one that just happened last week and why I think it happened and how I just made the connection now about why that 3 weeks of really despair and being happened last May. Okay, so here's what happened. Last week, some of you were on it, Forced to Flow, my revealing journey to 500K online as a business coach. So let me give you a little background on what happened with that training. So I set intention. When I did that training, I set intention. I think I told you all in the training, that's the first time in my entire business that I figured out how to teach balancing energetics and online marketing. That's something that I've been grappling with for 4 years, like how to teach online marketing and energetics. They knew I was doing it, but I didn't know how to show other people how to do it completely. And especially more to a bigger group. Like I can do it with private clients. Ultimately, that's what led me to only work with clients privately last year, was I'm like, I don't know how to teach this in a group setting. Like I know how to just do it with clients privately. And so when I blended those two things last week, and at the end of the call, I said, I've got space for 5 private clients to do this work. Surprise, universe. When I blended those things, something happened energetically for me. It was more powerful and more breakthrough than I had ever imagined would come from just sharing what I shared last week. And it was probably more for me than any of you. Like it was really a big piece of my purpose and my unfolding to share that and teach that last week. I'm feeling emotional just saying that, because that's what else, like our work is not only for the people we're serving, like it's for us, it's for our own growth and our own evolution. After that training last week, and after I said, I'm only taking on individual clients, I had a session with my coach, a mastermind session. And again, I got pissed off. I asked him a question. I have a whole 10 minutes of coaching with him in this mastermind every single week. And I asked him a very specific question. He's a marketing coach. He does nothing with energetics or spirituality. He's my marketing coach. And he went on some tangent about how I was being a disservice to my clients by not offering some sort of community and group. And I'm like, I don't want to do group. I work with clients privately because of the energetic piece. So I was ticked because he didn't answer my question and he kept laying into me about having to do some group. So I got off the call. I'm like, whatever, I'm not listening to him. Like really coachable. I'm not listening to him. Whatever, dude. Thanks for the waste of time today. Like total, those of you that know the 7 levels of energy, like total level 2, just PO'd. So then a couple hours later, I get a message in my email inbox from somebody who's on this call right now saying, I want in. Now, this is the connection that I just made on this call today. Last May, when I took those 3 weeks off, I started tapping into a vision for creating a group program, but I wasn't super connected to it. But I ended up just writing this sales page for this group program. But I was like, I don't know. I don't think it feels like the right time to do this group. Somehow this person found this sales page because I forgot I'd connected it to a program that I wasn't actively promoting. And she read it and she was like, I'd like to be a part of this group. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what group? There is no group. Group does not exist. I'm like, I'm just going to sleep on this and see what comes to me, because I realized this was the second time now in a matter of 2 hours that group came up. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sleep on it. I'll figure out what to do with it and we'll go from there. Now, this is where it got really magical. My son was sick that night and he woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. and he was in the bathroom and I was nervous he was sick. And so I got up with him and he fell back asleep. Well, I was wide awake. So I do what most people do when they wake up in the middle of the night. I popped on Facebook. The very first post I saw, and I shared this in the post here, was a post from one of my Facebook friends that said, "Oh my gosh, the book's finally released. I've been waiting for this." And then she tagged Lynn McTaggart. Now, I didn't really know, I'd never read any of Lynn's books, but I knew she worked with the field of consciousness and all of that. So I'm like, okay, well, I wonder what it is. I'd rather be reading than scrolling on Facebook because I love reading. And if I'm wide awake, I may as well be learning about something I'm passionate about. I open up the page thinking it's going to be all on consciousness. And the book's name, I highly recommend it. The book's name is The Power of 8. Basically how creating groups creates miracles for people. And the power of group intention is miraculous. And all the research showed, I read the whole book. Like I read the whole book, you guys, from 3 until 6 in the morning. And how all the research shows that people actually, it's like they open up to such incredible receiving and allowing and pure, no strings attached giving when they intend for each other and are intended for. What I mean by that is essentially Lynn created these groups and did all this research around it, around the power of intention and when it's done within a group setting. And essentially each person has the opportunity to be fully intended for in this group, meaning the person states their intention about what their focus is for the week. And most of her research experiments were on healing, like actually healing serious physical challenges, people in comas, or just healing. And what happened was miraculous over and over again. But what really grabbed me was the research showed that the miracles actually happened more for the people who were doing the intending than the target that was being intended for. And the other thing that came out of it with the research was that quantum leaps in consciousness happened because when they were seeing more massive consciousness leaps and this whole synchronicity and co-creation and stepping into the field of possibilities happening for people that were in these groups than people who had been doing a meditation practice for decades. And here's why. Because when we're intending for other people, like even when we're meditating or going into a centered place, the focus is still on ourself and our own consciousness. But when we're centering and visualizing, literally visualizing another person receiving the intention that they're setting, two things happen. One, it's pure giving and compassion. So there's a melding and a oneness that starts to show up. And I started playing with this with my private clients. It's been spine tingling. And in the act of giving, we are also receiving. It just was mind blowing. So anyways, I'm on a tangent about the book. Get the book. It's really freaking amazing. Anyways, that was my third. There was the tap from my coach and I got ticked. There was the knock from the email. Okay, it is that. And then there was the bang in the middle of the night. And it was the missing piece to what I'd started creating in May that I wasn't ready to release. In previous groups, I watched my clients go through massive life transformations and transitions, usually not around business. Now I know why. The group was powerful. The group mind, the connection, the sisterhood. That's why I saw you guys post sister a couple times. I'm like, oh, of course, sisterhood. And men, women, whatever. This is very, very feminine sort of concept. And it was the group and the support and the space that was held in the last group that I'd run last year. There were up to 25 women in it. But when it got down to about that 8 people is when the magic started happening. The group and holding that space allowed for these massive, like out of the 8 that were left, 2 ended up going through divorces, but they were peaceful divorces. 1 moved, the other one left her job and started her business full time. It was like huge, massive life transitions in a matter of 2 months. Now I know why it was happening, but we just didn't have this piece, which was more intentional about what we were working on creating. And it was just like whatever came up was just like healed by the group, as opposed to intentionally healing where they wanted to go. So anyways, I'm on a tangent. Yeah, I'm on a tangent. Okay, so yeah, good question, Jazz. I wonder what the other side is for people with bad intentions for others. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Here's my belief anyways. Again, another fantastic book, Power versus Force by David Hawkins. He talks about, he uses kinesthetic testing. And we just know that our power, when we tap into our power, it counterbalances negativity. So he's actually done kinesthetic testing that, again, when I talk about this, what I'm creating and by far the most transformational thing I've ever stepped into, what happens is that one person at a high level of consciousness, even at a fairly high level of consciousness, it's high because it's against the norm, but let's just say one person who's regularly resonating at a place of pure compassion and giving with no strings attached counterbalances like 750,000 people who are more in that bad intentioned place. So long as we're using intention from that really powerful place, we are automatically, just by the fact of being in higher consciousness, counterbalancing massive negativity around the world. And when he kinesthetically tested this, nobody exists at this level today, even in the past, but at pure consciousness. David Hawkins' scale is 1 to 1,000. So if somebody were resonating at 1,000, like they were like at 1,000, the highest level of consciousness would counterbalance the negativity of the entire world. So sometimes we say we want our businesses to make a massive impact in the world. We want to transform lives. We want to help millions of people. And if we want to help millions of people, shifting into the highest level of consciousness we possibly can, we already know, and there's tons of research around this, counterbalances and affects millions of people. What if it were that simple? I want to check in. What's standing out to you? What's the takeaway with what I've shared so far today with how you can create in your business and how you can be led to? Happened last night, the power of intention. Awesome, Steve. Yeah, we hear about the power of intention and we set intention, and we know that whenever we set intention, because Lynn actually wrote another book called The Intention Experiment. And they're pretty heady because they're so research-based. They're not as soft and flowy as some of the other kind of more consciousness-based books, but that same thing. And so then when she released The Power of 8 and how we 10 times our intention, when we pull a group of people together and we intend for each other, we 10 times the power of that intention. Imagine an intention that's really clear on your heart right now. And then imagine all the people on this right now. It looks like there's 16, 17 people live right now on this. And then imagine 17 people visualizing your intention coming true. It's like, how powerful is that? How powerful is it that not only are you visualizing it, but there's a whole team, a whole group that's basically merged minds to see this happen. It's so wild. Cindy, a recent experience with intention +1 created an overwhelming space of light and fire too. Yes, so powerful. Just one extra person created that space of light. Intend for all of you. Yes, Jazz. Yeah, so everybody, okay, let's just do, can we play with this? Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so into this. Thank you for bringing this up, Jazz. Okay, so those of you that are on this call, and those of you who are listening to this on replay, I want to do this. Now, if you're all willing to play in this field of possibility, this is no freaking joke. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. Okay, so Jazz just said, I'd love to do a group intention right now. Who's game? Can we do a group intention? Can we play? Okay, yes. Everybody who's still here, those of you who are freaking out about this, go ahead and pop off because we're going to play in the big field of limited possibility. Or if you need to leave, that's okay too. And you can come back to this. Okay, you guys game? Can we play with this group intention? Yes. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm actually going to take you all through a quick centering. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm starting to get truth tears. This is freaking crazy. Okay, I'm going to take you through a quick centering. So just get present. Like, I'm going to be on camera. You'll see my eyes closed. That's okay. I go into this. This is just the space I go into. Okay, so just make sure you get in a nice, comfortable place. And then what we're going to do a group intention for is I'd like you to envision all the people, including yourself in this circle, create the vision of people really manifesting their biggest visions for their business. And imagine seeing groups of people, really see them lighting up in their missions and their purpose and their businesses. And you'll create the visualization in any way that comes to you once you're centered. But I want you to really project your energy to this full group both the group here and the energy that comes into this group for the success that they're going to be stepping into here very soon. Okay, ooh, there, I just downloaded that for you all too. Okay, so go ahead, close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and release it out through your mouth. Take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a count of 2. Gently release all the air out of your mouth. Now just continue to breathe normally, feeling your chest and your abdomen rise and fall. Bring your attention to the top of your head. Imagine a warm, tingly sensation. Relaxing energy moving across your brow, over your temples, relaxing your cheeks and your jaw. Warm, relaxing energy brushing over your shoulders, into your biceps, creases of your elbows, your forearms, wrists, tingling energy all the way to the tips of your fingers. This energy working its way back up to your shoulders and upper back. Imagine it swirling around your heart, opening your heart up like a flower, opening it up to give and receive. Relaxing your abdomen and lower back. Imagine this warm, relaxing energy moving into your hips and your legs, the fronts and backs of your knees, your calves and ankles, all the way to the tips of your toes. Imagine this energy shooting from the bottom of your feet all the way to the core of the earth, grounding, stabilizing, rock solid, safe, secure, tapping into the core energy of the earth. And imagine from those roots into the core, the energy from the core shooting back up into your feet, up through your legs, your spine, all the way to the top of your head. This core earth energy grounding you in. Imagine this beautiful bright white light up above you, coming down from the sky, down from source, connecting with the core root energy. And as it connects, it settles into your heart. And from this place, I want you to connect in this powerful group of change makers, transformational entrepreneurs, and start to connect into the vision of the impact, the transformation, and the success that comes back for each and every person who's tapping into this right now. Allow whatever visions come into your mind. Project out the energy and the intention, creating massive impact and success. seeing everybody else creating massive impact and success. All right, I'm going to count you out from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For those of you that got into that centered state, come on back. Love to hear from anybody who had any sort of experience, physical sensation. Maybe it felt challenging, like whatever came up. I'd love to hear from any one of you. Any visions? Millions will benefit. Yes, they will, Steve. That was 3 minutes. Look at this. Okay, you guys, this is no freaking joke. This is the merging of one mind. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at this. Janelle, I gotta go find your other comment here. Janelle, flowers blooming all around. This is what happens, you guys. White light, wake up the world. And then Maggie, I saw flowers and fountains and rings of gold light. You guys see that? Jazz, I saw a lot interconnected with the web, the energy flowing. Doors were opening and lots of exchange. You're welcome. Goosebumps, you guys. I have freaking goosebumps. I've never in a million years would have imagined I would have done this on Facebook Live. This is so awesome. You guys are so awesome for wanting to play. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm so honored and humbled that all of you chose to come and play in this field of possibility and do this little experiment that came to me here last minute. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. I told you Fridays are like Friday fun days for me. And this seriously could have been more fun. Okay. So with that, I don't know about all of you, but when I have that experience, that merging of the mind, the oneness, the separateness, I feel these like surges of energy all through my body. If whatever you need to do, shake it off, go dance, do whatever you need to do to just get yourself grounded back in. And yeah, so super cool, super powerful. And feel free to come back and visit this too, because the energy is in this space. There is no time and space. So for those of you that are catching this on replay, I can assure you that the people that are coming into replay and are choosing to do the exercise that we just did, we're all going to continue to feel this massive, powerful energy and shift on our side for a long time to come. And yeah, this is really something. Okay. Tingling, yes. A lot of you will feel physical sensations from this. This was truly an experiment in the merging of the mind, the merging of the group, and the power of group energy. So thank you for playing in the experiment. All of you, I'm sensing, are feeling a huge wave of gratitude for every single person in this event to hold the space, which is amazing. None of you know each other, and this was totally on a whim. It just goes to show how powerful each and every one of you are, that you could hold this space and truly honor this experience. And it is having a massive impact. And all of you are ready to unlock the vision in your heart, detach, trust, knowing that this powerful energy is on your side, and take the massive action in the direction that you're guided, that you're led to. And so that is it. I'm going to go ahead and close down our training for today. And thank you all so much. Humbly grateful that you're all here. Have a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future. And that's all for today. Goodbye.